America Conference. From February 10th to the 12th, I had the privilege of attending the Routes America Conference for the first time. This premier aviation industry event focused on air service development and provided invaluable opportunities to position Sint Maarten as a leading aviation and tourism destination. Representatives from the Princess Juliana International Airport, the Dutch, French, and St. Bart's Tourist Bureau, and Commissioner Valerie Damasou also attended, reinforcing our collective efforts to enhance airlift and connectivity. During the conference, I participated in over 15 high-level meetings with airlines representatives including KLM, Copa, Azul, British Airways, Virgin Atlantic, and Emirates, to name a few. These discussions centered on expanding Sint Maarten's airlift, attracting new routes, and strengthening regional partnership with neighboring islands such as Sint Bart's and Anguilla. Anguilla also was there. They had their independent booth. A key outcome was an invitation to the Arabian Travel Market, the ATM, in Dubai, a leading global travel event. This opportunity will allow us to introduce Sint Maarten to the Middle Eastern market, further diversifying our tourism sector. Additionally, discussions at Routes Americas highlighted the potential for Sint Maarten to host the Routes Conference, possibly in 2028. However, this would require the development of a suitable conference center capable to accommodate over 1,000 industry professionals, an infrastructure goal we aim to achieve in the near future. As you know, over the past week, the ministry has been actively addressing the two ongoing investigations by SOAB and the Integrity Chamber regarding the public transportation. We have now formally responded to the draft report from SOAB and are in final stages of preparing our response to the Integrity Chamber this week. Additionally, the confirmation process, which concluded yesterday, February 25th, has provided critical data, and that will pave the way for a comprehensive reform of the public transportation industry. As of February 25th, we received approximately 500 applications for the confirmation letter process. So 342 taxis, which is 65% of all taxis, 100 buses, which is about 45% of all the registered buses, 27 vehicles, T and G plates from various companies, which is about 65% of all of them, and 9 car rental companies, which is about 25% of all the companies. This process was essential to ensuring compliance within the transportation sector while maintaining high operational safety and legal standards. In the coming weeks, the ministry will carefully analyze the recommendation and collected data to determine the way forward. A significant industry-wide reform is on the horizon, and the new policies and regulations to prevent oversaturation and ensure proper regulation within the sector. This government remains dedicated to fostering a well-structured, efficient, and compliant public transportation system that benefits all stakeholders and the people of Sint Maarten. I would like to take this moment to address this recent discussion regarding influencer involvement on tourism marketing efforts. Sint Maarten Tourism Bureau recently hosted a special influencer campaign inviting regional personalities to experience and promote our island. While these influencers played a key role in showcasing Sint Maarten's attractions, and it is important to clarify that they were not officially appointed as brand ambassador. This term was used incorrectly, and we want to be clear that these individuals were engaged as only influencers, not official representatives of Sint Maarten. At this time, I want to assure the public that STB, Sint Maarten Tourism Bureau, is actively developing a structured brand ambassador program in collaboration with key stakeholders. This initiative is being carefully designed to highlight local talent and ensure that our ambassadors receive the recognitions that the platforms they deserve. More details on this program will be announced soon. It is important to acknowledge that Embrace Group, the local marketing firm awarded to contract awarded a contract in November 2023 to support regional tourism marketing, is the one that was chosen to support regional tourism marketing. So Embrace has been tasked with developing strategic campaigns to enhance St. Martin's presence in the Caribbean. Their work is part of a broader efforts to increase regional tourism and strengthen our island's visibility. We appreciate the passion and feedback from the public on this matter, and my focus for the tourism remains on ensuring that St. Martin is promoted effectively and efficiently while also uplifting local voices in our tourism marketing efforts. We look forward to sharing more updates on the brand ambassadorship program in the near future.
Are you SXM insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXM is cardless. Request your My SXM account today and enter the virtual office of SXM. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
SXM, yeah. Your social health insurances.
Tourism.
Yes.
CFT just recently, I think yesterday, is saying that St. Martin needs to increase its revenues, cut costs. Are we thinking about more taxes on the people or even more taxes and fees on the visiting tourism? Are we looking at cutting ourselves short because we are now competing with Dominica and Antigua that are getting direct flights from North America? Or is government thinking about also cutting its expenses? If so, how? And what about travel expenses? Are we thinking about cutting that too? Because CFT is saying it. What exactly are we doing? And knowing that we're dealing with a budget crisis that is yet to be ratified and published, how do you plan to pay off Soul Beach and execute even the financial?
I think everything you mentioned prior to the Soul Beach part, I think is what government is planning to do. I think this government for sure is looking to do indirect taxation and cutting costs, cutting frivolous costs. That's something I think, and as a whole, holistically, that's the idea of where we all want to go. And adding more taxes to the people, no, the people are already hurting. So indirect taxation is the way to go, and finding new ways and means to find more money in the coffers, which is actually through maritime. There's a lot of places, a lot of opportunities there that we can increase and make and gain some more income. As opposed to Soul Beach, regarding Soul Beach is ongoing. Soul Beach has its deposit, and I mentioned the $200,000 from the 2025 budget. I said we might have to pay the $200,000, but provided they get funding from key stakeholders, we may not have to. It is up to $200,000, and right now nothing is due, and Soul Beach will be announcing next week their itinerary. Everything is as planned. I've been told that some 2 or 3 French companies are also part of it, not the French government, but there's some activities that's going to still happen on the French side. So you'll be hearing on very soon on the full activities and what's happening on Soul Beach by next week.
I'd like to begin my press briefing with some remarks regarding the Simpson Bay Beach Bar. I've seen the posts and understand the concerns about the long lease land in Simpson Bay, especially when it regards accessing the beach. As a fellow St. Martiner, I know how deeply we all care about preserving our island's natural beauty and ensuring that our people are never shut out from our beaches. I share the same sentiment and always will. I know it's frustrating to see changes happening, and I understand. As to the deed's purpose for residential use, indeed, the current use does not align with the land designation, and this will be rectified. Note that this area has been for a very long time commercial in nature, and similar has been done in areas where commercialization has exceeded residential use, most notably in Phillipsburg and Coal Bay. There are also instances where persons in all these areas have transformed their homes into commercial spaces for rent without permission from the government. This too will be rectified as we continue to address land usage and zoning. What I can assure you, as I have said on several occasions, is that this establishment has the necessary permits and is operating within the legal guidelines of their May brief. The enclosed area corresponds to the May brief issued in the 1970s, and just like the homes and businesses along Simpson Bay Beach have enclosed their boundaries as is legally allowed. Our love for St. Martin is what brings us together, and it's important that we have all the facts before jumping to conclusions. My intention is not to tell you how to feel, but to be as open and transparent as possible. I appreciate the passion in this community and I remain committed to keeping you informed, but let's ensure that these conversations are based on proper information, fairness, and respect. On the topic of DDAM, earlier this month in Parliament, I stated that DDAM ruling underscores the importance of fairness and transparency in land allocation. As a government, we have a duty to manage land, a scarce and valuable resource, in the best interest of St. Martin and its people. To be clear, I am not stopping land allocation. However, as part of the Dutch Supreme Court ruling on DDAM, the government has been prohibited from granting land since November 2021. Despite this, MBAs were still issued even after notaries informed the then ministers that deeds could not and would not be executed. Therefore, the reaction of some members of parliament and the desire to give the illusion that this is something of my doing is unfortunate and highly misleading. Moving forward, and as stated in Parliament, VROMI will enforce strict compliance measures and establish a formal land allocation policy to ensure a fair and transparent process for all. This new policy will not operate on a first-come, first-served basis, as that would contradict the principles of the policy's basis of fairness and transparency. While it has not been decided if or how all requests will be considered, I can say in advance that unfortunately they will not receive preference. This is not in any way unfair, as several persons have come after you and received well before you. Our efforts are in fact to correct this bias and uneven distribution. As such, your answered request may be fulfilled once the criteria has been met. On the weighbridge and its related permit, yesterday there was a publication in the Daily Herald falsely stating that the weighbridge work that began on Monday didn't have a published permit. I would like the public to know that the permit has been published since 17th of this month, that is February 17th. While a statement of other permits having not been published on time cannot be commented on as this needs to be verified, I addressed this concern in previous press briefings. I wish to recall that the National Gazette is published every 2 weeks. The Permits Department continues to sort through all permits to make sure they were published, while simultaneously working through current requests and publishing recently signed permits. A new protocol will shortly be adopted to ensure steps are not missed and permits are published on time. I want to thank them for their willingness to find solutions and commitment to improving their service. Hopefully, the correction will be made and published on the same real estate as the accusation was made. On a more positive note, the weighbridge is part of the government's continued efforts to improve waste management. It will form part of the ministry's tools to quantify and sort all incoming waste. I wish to thank my predecessors, the team at Infrastructure, and NRPB for their work as we go towards a more sustainable, cleaner St. Martin. I would like to encourage the media to in future verify any statements, videos, or news involving my person or the ministry with my PR team. We do value the relationship with the media and would like to avoid misinformation being disseminated in the future. We both have the obligation to provide accurate information to the public, and I do look forward to continuing to do this together. Finally, on Westview High Rise in Kupakoy, near the property of the former Summit Hotel, it was brought to my attention that there was a legal battle with the Westview High Rise and their neighbors. We are aware of the situation and we are looking further into it. I do ask that you give us some time and respect the privacy of those involved in the ongoing court case.
Your social and health insurance is your social and health insurance.
Are you SXM insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXM is cardless. Request your My SXM account today and enter the virtual office of SXM. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
Your social and health insurance.
It's time for a new brand that is as bold, vibrant, and colorful as the island of St. Martin, with colors drawn from our diversity, cultural heritage, and nature. Our breathtaking beaches, waters, and sun, the majestic brown pelican, our national symbol, the radiant yellow sage, our national flower, the historic border monument signifying the Dutch and French sides, our exciting cruise, yachting, and boating ports, renowned Maho Beach and St. Martin Airport, the hub to the Caribbean. All these parts come together to create the shape of the island of St. Martin. More than a logo. It's a new brand that engages, excites, and will inspire travelers to book. It's time to tell the St. Martin story, to reintroduce travelers to St. Martin, to honor our past, to embrace our present, and shape our future. Our culture and diversity, Dutch and French sides, unrivaled cuisine, twice the nightlife, entertainment, and shopping, cruises, boating, and yachting, twice the adventure, exploration, and relaxation, splendid and scenic accommodations, Pinel, Tentamar, and island hopping in the Caribbean. Whatever your taste, St. Martin has more. Experience twice the Caribbean. St. Martin.
question and a comment concerning the exchange rate. It officially, I think it used to be 180. It is now 179. That means our money has increased in value by 1 Dutch cent. But what kind of controls does the central bank actually have and will put in place? Because some places now are changing at 175, some at 177, some at 178, some at 180, some at even 182. And it is extremely confusing. And I think it's always to the benefit of the business itself and not the consumer. So I would like some clarity on that, seeing that it is something that I have asked about previously and could never have received a clear reply on.
I would like to know what were the costs associated with this entire exercise, so jointly, the entire cost, and then if you can maybe clarify if St. Martin had to just pay half, or was it done based on a population basis, etc. Secondly, with the adaptation of this entire exercise, and I know it costs money to make money, especially with all these high-tech security features. I even thought I saw the money moving by itself just now, but I guess it was a win. I would like to know, through you, Mr. Chairman, these costs will be then carried over to the commercial. Would these costs be carried to the commercial bank and then increase in terms of banking fees? Can we expect an increase in bank fees?
My question, I'm asking this on behalf of primarily, I would say, the elderly in our community. I know that in 2021, there was a survey done by the central bank, and one of the conclusions was that St. Martin is a cash-based economy, and you mentioned people who do not have a bank account that they can come back and to the central bank to change funds, and if it's more than 2,500, then they have to declare the source of the funds. Now, with a cash-based community and with some of the elderly, I think that they will probably have more than 2,500 guilders somewhere stashed, let's say, and so they will come in. Will you be looking then at, let's say, recurrent? If the person comes in with 2.5 today and then tomorrow 2.5, will they then have to fill in this source of funds? And I mean, sometimes they have that money there sitting for years. So how are they going to, in reality, declare where they receive that money? Because it's money that they have saved over years and have opted not to use a bank. So how will the central bank be dealing with those kind of cases? And then secondly, when you mentioned the level of security features and you said that there's level 1 to 4, I wanted to know the features that you showed us today on what level those are, because you mentioned level 4 is only known to the central bank. So what level did you give us today?
So you spoke about the exchange rate as a specific concern. The exchange rate that we mentioned is the actual peg to the dollar. The 179, a dollar is 179 ANG or XCG. That is still the same. That did not change in this transition. What you're referring to is the rate that is being used outside, 180, 182, 179, and that all depends on the type of transaction that you do. In our guidance that we give to the commercial bank, we tell them that if you do a transfer from guilder to dollar, it has to be on this rate. If you do from dollar to guilder, it has to be on that rate. Specifically, as it's done now in the stores, that is beyond the scope of the central bank. However, there is a legislation that says that there is a certain margin that can happen now when you do exchanges. So on the street. So it cannot differentiate more than a certain percentage of the official rates as published by the central bank. What we have had discussions about, and it's also a concern or a remark of the minister, that we need to make sure that that the introduction of the Caribbean Guilder is not becoming a free-for-all for people to use whatever rate they want. So what you're still going to see, I think, in practice is that your actual working rate is going to be 180, which is the norm, and that the introduction of the Caribbean Guilder should not change that. MP Duran, your question was the cost. What are the costs for this project? That is actually 15 million guilder, and the costs are totally carried by the central bank. So Curaçao and St. Martin did not have to put money into this. The central bank pays for this fully. The cost of the adaptation in that respect as well, since the central bank is paying, there are no costs for the commercial banks in this respect. So there are no costs that will be carried over to, these are costs that we depreciate in a number of years. So we will not pass them on to any commercial bank in this matter. And the tools that you mentioned for the commercial sector, yes, there are tools. The pen, as a specific one, also works on these banknotes. Thank you. And the questions of MP Veronica. As it pertains to the elderly, indeed, the research that the central bank did jointly with the central bank stated that 70% of the population of St. Martin does not have a bank account. So this is a fairly large group in the society, and that's why we also deemed it important that we came with a solution for them. The 2,500 guilder is a one-time, no questions asked. So if you come with more, you're going to have to fill out the source of funds because that's cumulative. So if you come the second time with 2,500, you will have out the source of funds. Understanding the situation, we will work with the elderly. We will, if needed, even help them, assist them out to the source of funds. But it's documentation that we need. Our compliance will take a look at it. We'll have the conversation with them, and if in order, the exchange will be done. So that is something that we'll keep on. What we also recommend, however, going forward, is start making use of a bank account, because the elderly might have a bank account, but they prefer not to use it. So that is also a little bit of an education and as part of financial inclusion and a safety risk that they use a bank account going forward. That is something that we would like everyone to encourage as well. And the question of the level of security features, these are level 1 security features known for the general public.